Hello, Canucks fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Insider Podcast. My name is Chris Faber, and this week we are joined by a man who is in his second year with the Canucks after scoring a career-high 28 goals, with 14 of them coming on the power play. He is Jake DeBrusk, and he makes his debut on the podcast. Jake, welcome to the pod.
Nice to have me here. Hey, I'm excited to be here. First time on the pod. Yeah, rookie.
Yeah. How many podcasts do you think you've done in your life? I've seen you around on a couple.
Not that many, actually. I try to stay away. I don't pick them. Yeah, I find when podcasts, I like the style of talking. I like watching podcasts. I think I actually am not bad on them, but I sometimes get lost a little bit. The longer the conversation goes on, I say more things I probably should.
Yeah, that's always the worry with these things, right? Yeah. Too many guys getting in trouble doing podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. And I think like nowadays with everyone, everyone's on their phones and social media, and you just kind of I like hearing what guys say and things like that. But yeah, I started off with spitting chicklets, and then I kind of went on a couple more here and there, kind of if I get asked, and if the moment's right, I guess.
Yeah, love it. Well,
I was actually thinking about making one, actually.
Really?
With a former teammate. Well, it was just gonna be hot stove. Like, I mean, everyone's doing it now, but having players actually do it that are playing in the actual current season.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Kelsey brothers, actually. Okay. I wasn't surprised to see someone do it because I was thinking about doing it a couple of years ago. Yeah. But there's a lot more risk there, as you know, scheduling and different things, and obviously with the editing and stuff. So didn't go through with it.
If you want, you could edit this. You can get like a feel for everything. Like you can take a job off of art.
Not really good with technology.
What about it? You got a title for this? Have you spitballed a little bit?
Yes, we were good. There's one that was gonna be an incognito one, where like no one would really know it was us, and we just say whatever we wanted to say. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just hot stove. But I feel like everyone's like, this was years ago, so now I feel like everyone's kind of taking the easy ones and different things. But think of something original.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you come from a family who's got some broadcasting experience, obviously, with your dad. And I'm not going to ask a question about your dad because I heard a quote from him that it was actually your mom that got you into hockey.
Oh, wow.
That she got you into skating lessons and bought you the gear for the first time. I wanted to ask and start there with your mom, because where is a better place to start?
Yeah.
Your mom getting you started in hockey, what was she like to influence you when you were playing as a young guy?
Oh, she was the one you didn't want to drive home with after a bad game. You know, no offense, Mom. When I got later, she's still probably, if you ever been in an arena when she's there, you'll probably hear her yell skate a couple times. But she was great. She was, my dad was obviously gone and busy and doing, following his passion. And she was, like you said, the one that always was kind of bring me to those early mornings. Whenever he could, he would. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that she probably wanted me to get into the game. But I obviously looked up to my dad the most. I think that was the biggest reason. I'll say that. But she sacrificed a lot of her time and in her work as well to help me get out there. And I wasn't the prettiest of skaters. I wasn't necessarily the best of students. So she has a lot of patience, that's for sure.
No, when you said that, it reminded me of my mom. Like, I remember finishing a baseball game one time, and they were like, "Is your mom all right?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, she's okay. She just likes to get into it."
She's Canadian hockey mom.
Yeah, exactly. It's all that fun stuff. I did hear as well, like when you were quite young, like you weren't the biggest guy either. You had quite a growth spree. Was it 15, 16? So what was it like kind of growing up, just being one of the smaller guys on the
I was always the smallest guy, actually. I mean, it was... I always got told I was going to grow. Everybody was telling me I was going to grow. I wasn't necessarily worried about it, but then it gets to ages 13, 14. Some of your friends are 6 foot. Some friends have facial hair now, and puberty hits everyone at different points. But I was late bloomer in all fronts, and I think it was around 15. I broke my thumb, and don't know how or why, but I remember that was a time where I started catching people when I was just kind of chilling. And because when I came back from that thumb injury, it wasn't a huge growth spurt. I never had growth pains, but I didn't stop growing after that point. But being small, it's honestly a lot of disadvantages, especially on the ice. But it makes you learn how to play differently, and it's kind of funny looking back because even then I was still playing net front, and I don't know why. I mean, now I know why, but it wasn't really a good screen back in the day.
Yeah, well, I'm worried now that like the 12-year-old short guys are gonna like go and just smash their thumb in a door and be like, "That's the trick."
Yeah,
That's gonna get me
I think it was honestly the fact that I just got recovery. I think it was the fact that I was just. I think everything happens for a reason, good and bad, but. I remember that being a pivotal point, not of it getting broken. That sucked. I missed on a breakaway and I jammed my thumb, in the wall, boxer's fracture. But no, long story short, I remember coming back from that injury. I just felt like I had a lot of sleep. I was really tired and I was just like, recovering and eating lots. And next thing you know, I still think to this day my dad spiked something. I think it was called mutant mass, the protein I was having back in the day. I don't even know if that's legal nowadays, but I think there was a little bit of messing around going on around that time because the BAM draft was coming up. But no, it went smooth.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, second year now with the Canucks. I'm sure it was quite a different like off season, knowing what you're getting into a little bit this year. How different does it feel coming into this year and
Yeah,
just having a different run from like having to meet everyone and now you know everyone? It must be a lot more of a better feeling here in year two.
way more comfortable for sure. Obviously, even knowing you and everyone, yeah, I mean, I moved also in the summer as well. I moved to Calgary, and so I was meeting a lot of new people for a long time. So I felt like I had an advantage growing up where I moved around a lot with my dad. Going to different schools and kind of the way I am, my personality, it's pretty out there. So I feel like I'm okay with meeting new people, but it definitely feels different when coming into camp and some of the drills, the coaches, there's different players, different changes, but even knowing the guys as well, and definitely made it a lot more easy in that term. But I thought last year was pretty easy transition as well. The guys welcomed me open arms, so it's nice. And as the years go on, you go through lows and highs. You get closer, and that's what those are things you remember about when you're done.
Yeah, and I have to imagine it's nice too when you get to be the guy who's welcoming a new guy to the team, right?
Yeah.
Like that part's gonna be good, and especially so many young guys
Yeah.
coming in. Like they look to a guy who's been here for a little bit. Now
Yeah.
you get to be that guy here with long contract here with the team. You're going to be in Vancouver for a hot minute.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Just to be able to know that you're going to be here for a while.
That was, I mean, it's an honor, honestly. You think about it, and there's not very many guys that get the opportunity to have that. And everyone's saying how the cap's going up and all of that, but it only helps us in that way. I mean, I think it's a partnership in terms of both sides. And no, I mean, and even what you were saying earlier about the young guys and stuff, some guys think I've been here longer than I have, if that makes any sense. And we had some new players come in last year. So I feel like we're all kind of coming in actually at the same time, which makes it kind of fun. But no, being able to be here long term is, knock on wood, is obviously, something that I was very fortunate, and I don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, one of those young guys, and I wanted to ask about, just came to my mind here, like watching Braden Coots come in at 18 years old, and the photo of you guys when he's a little kid, and you're a little kid in that photo as well. Like, how crazy was that? And what's it like to just have an 18-year-old jump into an NHL locker room and like play some games, get that experience? Like, that's got to be crazy for an 18-year-old.
It's impressive. And, as a veteran, you kind of get in your own little routines trying to get ready for the regular season, the first couple games. And to be honest with you, I don't really start very well, so I'm always kind of in my head. So, but in fairness, you try not to give that off on a guy that's super excited, and is 18-year-old making it out of camp's impressive. I've only seen it one other time, and it was a 19-year-old. Obviously Edmonton born kid. I knew it as soon as they picked him. I sent him a message saying to see you soon, because I was excited. I always like having guys that are, I'm biased Canadian, and from Edmonton helps as well. But the first conversation I had with him, we were on the ice and I was kind of talking to him a little bit, and he told me that he had a picture with me, and he's like, you probably don't remember it though. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, where would I have a picture with this guy? But then this is me aging myself. Then I saw the picture and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I am old. I am very old. But he's an impressive player, and I think he plays the right way. And obviously there's so much there's a lot of pressure as an 18-year-old coming in. All you want to do is stay and play, and but he'll be around. I'll be seeing more of him, and he just needs to keep doing what he does. And but yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, it hits different now when you're like, like I'll see prospect highlights online, and it's like an '08 born kid, and I'm like, God,
the double O's, the double O's. I remember when double O's were a thing, 2000s, or the James Bonds, the 07s.
Man.
But yeah, it's kind of, the double O's is weird, eh?
Yeah, it's tough.
No 90s in there is
real fast.
Yeah.
You mentioned it though, like another Canadian kid playing in the Canadian market. That must mean quite a bit to you as well. Like you get it. Like you get what this is all about here, being in the Canadian market.
For sure. I mean, I grew up obviously in Edmonton, and I grew up in the age of darkness, is what we called it. But it sucked as a fan. Honestly, it really did. But you always remember the good times. You remember the '06 Cup run, and just to get to see how the crowd was there. And that was one of my main reasons for signing here as well, was to be back in Canada, and also at the same point hear the fans. I was watching it last or 2 years ago, I guess now, and it looked like a jungle. And that's where you want to play. You want to play in the loudest places. You want to play in the places that they'll let you know how they think you're playing at all costs. And I think that's what comes with the territory. But in saying that, I think the biggest thing is, with fan bases like this, if you just honestly work through everything, if you work hard, and they see that you're giving the effort, what can they really complain about? That's something that obviously only we can control. But I think that's something that I'm going to be focusing on, no matter what the stats are. It's easy to say when the stats aren't great, but this is what happened last year, so it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's I mean, the fan base you watch, like, you know, guys like Kiefer Sherwood getting chance when they, you know, like they
Yeah.
recognize when a guy is giving that effort and playing
Exactly.
that way. Like, that's got to be the coolest part that I think, just from view. I'm not
Yeah.
on the ice experience
Yeah.
like you, but like I
Yeah.
see a guy like in this market, especially whether you're top line, fourth line, you give that effort, you give
Yeah.
the right play, like you get recognized in these type of markets.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's exactly the best probably example of what I was just
Yeah.
that he's a guy who always has his heart and soul in the sleeve, ever has since I met him. I try to calm him down as much as I can. He's a little, you know, I'm pretty much like the angel on his shoulder in some ways, but sometimes I stir him up a little bit just to see what he's got. But that's exactly it, and it's kind of cool to hear some chants. Obviously, you know, there's some pretty loud ones, but I think that comes with a lot of respect and just effort and different things. You know, I think that usually it's the guys that are here for a while that get those chants. Usually it takes a couple of years for those to come around, I would guess. But for him, have it this early, I think that's exactly what being a Canuck is, honestly. And I think that's what, you know, even myself, I need to be more conscious of.
Yeah, I think 500 hits and a couple hat tricks helps him too. That'll help you pretty quick.
Crazy. I don't know how he gets those hits, so I don't know who's taking hits here. Not that I hit a lot, but you know, I know I hit at least once per game. But he's mastered getting 5 per game. But yeah, that was just crazy. I mean, that's something that good luck trying to beat that. You know, good luck trying to beat that. And then also he's got a good scoring touch, and he likes to make plays. And I think for him too, this is the best opportunity he's gotten as a pro. And he's really taken it by the storm. Kind of a perfect timing, and we need more of it. That's for sure. I think he's got 9 already this year. So I mean, must be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. No assists though.
Yeah, no apples.
Can't have it all everything.
No apples. Yeah, was it the Cy Young?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Like, I don't know. Just as someone who's watching the games, I see what he does on a shift sometimes, and I have to imagine like on the bench that's got to get you guys going. Like some of these shifts that even like a young guy coming in, or you know, Kiefer's just such a good example of a guy who brings so much energy on that shift. What does it do for you guys at the bench? Like, what are you guys talking about when you're watching one of these like just crazy Kiefer Sherwood shifts?
I honestly I laugh a lot. I think he's pretty entertaining. And it's kind of off stuff that's not even on the play, but like kind of stuff that like only we kind of know and see. But no, I mean, there's I think the biggest thing is belief, right? You just believe he's going to go get that puck. You just believe he's going to go do that. And it's like different guys on our team, you know, when it's like a guy like Brock has a shot in the slot, you pretty much know it's automatically going in the net. Or a guy like Quinn, like, you know, skating up or, you know, skating back, or guys blocking shots. There's different ways you can kind of make it in the game, but his is obviously energy. So energy, I think energy is the easiest thing to see. That's what something my dad used to always tell me was, when you watch a game, no matter how good or bad you are, you can always tell who's working the hardest or who's going the fastest, and that's kind of the truth.
Can you walk me through the short stick? Because when you got here, the first time I saw you on the ice in practice, I was like, oh, there was a joke being pulled on there or something. Talk me through like what the benefits are, because there's I've said this on the last episode. There's a lot of kids that watch the show with their parents. Like, give some advice for the kids out there. Maybe they want to try the short stick. What works for you?
Well, actually, it was out of necessity. I broke my hand, my other one, my right hand, my top hand, 2 years ago, and like game 15 or something, and I played the whole year with it, and I couldn't raise the puck. For some reason, I just couldn't get it with my stick that I had before, and I noticed that when I kind of went down smaller and smaller, I can raise the puck in tight. Like literally I couldn't really, like my hand, I couldn't really do it. So I was like, I had to figure out a way, because I was playing. I scored my first game after the broken hand. It sewered me because then they thought I was fine. But it was broken. It was. And long story short, so that's why it became smaller. But then I liked how it was in front of the net. So the benefits of it for tips, it's pretty much like you got a racket. You know, you got a racket out there, got a max blade, so I can kind of get a piece of everything. And then also in tight and raising pucks. And I thought for me, when you're in the battle, it's good for battles too, because you have more center of gravity, and it forces you to skate more. You have to lean more. You have to lean more forward. So those are the positives. Now the negatives of it, you know, kind of outweigh the positives depending on how you're playing and what the game is. If you're playing a game where you're penalty killing, you obviously can't have a small stick out there. You're forechecking. If you're not fast, if you're not there on time, you're probably not going to get a stick on it. We're playing in the best league in the world. You're not going to get somebody with a mini stick on a back check. So you got to really move your feet. If I was trying to force myself to move more. And I've actually this year I've started to go against it a little bit. Not much. I have a long way to go to catch other guys in terms of sticks, but my hand is better now, and I miss beating goalies clean. I used to beat goalies clean, 3-4 times a year. We're just, was honestly snipes or, good shots. and I haven't had those in a while. So I kind of miss scoring those ones because you need those, and it changes the way that you play. If you know you can't really shoot from there, you try to score different ways.
Yeah, well, a way that you are scoring a lot is around the net. Like, and you mentioned that's somewhere that you started, as the 4'11" kid who was playing against everyone who was 6 foot.
I don't even know if I was that. I think I was listed at 5'0", 120 pounds. My first ever BAM draft weigh-in. That's what I was listed at, was 5'0", 120 pounds. And so that was 15 or 14. I'm not sure. I forget what age, but that's what I was. That's what I was. I was listed at 5'5", 150. You reach a couple stats. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. No, I remember that all the time. Even I remember playing football, and you always added 2 inches, 40 pounds. Like, you want the other team to look at the roster and be like, oh man, they got some hogs coming here.
This guy's a beast.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like the whole net front presence, you developed it at a young age. And you mentioned like your dad talking about effort. I feel like effort is the biggest thing around the net, right? Like, you can have a lot of skill, but if you have no effort around the net, that's, to me, that feels like the most important thing. When did you really like realize that? Was it as the 5 foot 155 kid that
honestly
found that out?
Yeah, because I was always at a disadvantage. I mean, how do you get to the net if you got someone that's 50 pounds stronger than you? Probably doesn't know exactly how to use it, but using his weight, vice versa, could be actually more harder, trying to keep you away from there. But I always felt like whenever I was around the net, no one really thought me as a threat. So I always felt like I was open for rebounds. But you're right, that's what it is. It's there's effort, there's competitiveness. Everyone's got different things of that. You got to be either really good with your timing or really smart, or you have to outcompete somebody down there. And I feel like that's kind of why the short stick helps too, is because it's right there, and I'm kind of in the mix. It's not necessarily whack-a-mole where you're just whacking it, but you also got to be the goalie. You got to understand where the tips are. You got to try to think about the rebounds after, and it's a pretty simple position, but to be really good at it, and then teams adjust. Teams will be on you now. Teams will, obviously, as you said, 14 goals last year in the power play. Every time we do a pre-scout, we know who led their team in goals last year, who's leading their team now. And so I know that there's a guy there, which should open someone else up. That's what you want, honestly. If someone's worried about the net front, there should be something else open. But it helps when you have a guy like Quinn at the top who can kind of sift everything through. I gotta get better at that 5-on-5 this year, especially. But that for me is timing. You're getting back, and there's no use in standing in the net front and taking 10 cross checks and the puck not arriving. Because then there's nothing. You're just taking abuse for no reason, right? But
comes with the job, though.
It comes with the job. The ironic part is the time you don't do it, that's when the puck arrives. So you just gotta keep. You got to be patient with it. And then when you're ready, it's just about, honestly, out-competing. For me, being a smaller guy, I had to learn how guys' sticks were in terms of where they like to put sticks. So I always try to get into people's hands off rebounds, on rebound ones. And then you have to have a little bit of patience on the rebounds because you just want to jam away and get it up. But you have a little more time than you think. And especially in this league, too, with goalies, how fast they are, you got to kind of put it in the right area. So you just take your extra little second and put it in. Yeah,
because I think of just like how different the angle is constantly changing when you're in the net front, right? Like whether the puck's moving or just a player's moving with it. And then on top of that, like let's say a shot and you're looking for a rebound, like you're dealing with moving goaltender every single time. So it's like, it's more than just, like you said, just banging away at the net front.
Right?
Like, it's almost like a little bit of a dance you're having.
Yeah, I always look at guys even like Carly, like Carlson. He is underratedly really good. He doesn't know how good he is in front of the net because he's got a good read of that and he's got a long reach. But he's really good at that, and you notice as a net front guy, you notice some guys are good down there. Some guys like make plays, make dishes, and I like to look at the guys that like to finish around there. And he's a guy that'll give me a run for my money here in a couple of years. That's for sure. I don't want to tell him too much.
Yeah, well, and it's like, man, I've watched him develop that over his time in the AHL. Like I remember when he came over from Sweden, he was the left half wall guy, and it was one time where it's from the left half wall. Never saw him in front of the net. And it was something that he just like really grew on in Abbotsford. So it's
you can work on it.
A cool one to watch develop, and like you said, like get a chance to use that reach and everything. The power play, though, and you fitting into this group, what's it like to jump into a power play group, and especially when you arrive here and you get a chance to be PP1 and get that opportunity to play with these guys who all have so much skill? How much do you enjoy being and getting a chance in that position?
Yeah, you just try to do everything you can to help. I mean, obviously, I knew they had a pretty good power play when I first came here. I actually got moved off the unit. I think it was in the bumper before, but then I got put back on it. And the second time it came back on it, I just kind of was doing my thing. I mean, my thing, I more so meant be really good with recoveries, be really good with routes, and then also at the same point, bury everything in front of the net, make it so they can't take you off of it almost. But obviously so much skill. You got Petey with the one-time bomb, Brock's unreal in the bumper. He scores so many of those high-tipped goals. Obviously with Gar now on the, he does his little things all the time, but he shovels pucks in for me. And I think that at this point in the year with the condensed schedule and how tight games are, obviously it's going to be an emphasis, but I think with, those, I look at that as a great opportunity, especially even last year. And, you just try to make the most of it. Obviously, sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes you're not, kills are kills. They're paid to stop it. And there's lots of guys that are good at it. Sometimes you're in front of the net and there's nothing that comes and it looks like you're not doing anything. But when the times are there, you have to be ready. You have to be consciously looking for it. Quinn is hard to kind of read where he shoots, but I've noticed that at the beginning of last year, not necessarily, just how fast he is, and it's going different ways. Sorry, excuse me. But then you learn it. So you try to tell him what you like as a net front guy in terms of shots. But I always like when guys shoot to score, because why would you go shoot for a tip if you have a chance to shoot and score? Like, if I miss it, then you're scoring, But I try to make it so I don't miss. Not that I tip everything, but I make it hard,
Yeah. No, I did want to ask about another player. We talked about it a little bit before we started recording here with Tyler Myers, a guy who's been here for a long time, a father, a guy who's like a leader in the room. What does he do in that locker room for this team? What does he bring to this group?
A lot is stability, honestly. You always look up to those guys that have been around for a while, and I came from a older team in Boston, and I feel like he fits the same kind of mold of what that was like for a young guy coming up. And he's always a guy you can talk to in confidence. He's got his routines. He's such a good pro in that way. I mean, you don't play 1,000 games without having certain things on the menu for him. And I think it's one of those things where he earns his respect in day to day, and guys root for him, and he's got a good sense of humor too. I like making him laugh.
Yeah. So where this team's at right now, you guys sit at 7-8 on the season. I'm just getting your thoughts, like dealing with seeing what the condensed schedule is about, and what how it can wear you down mentally, everything you guys are going through. What's the focus of this group now, sitting at 7-8?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think more so it's mentality than anything, because when you play in games, this amount of games this fast, it's kind of like a playoff schedule in some ways. Not necessarily even close to playoff intensity, but you're playing every second day. You're kind of going 3 and 4. You're constantly going, so you feel like you're always at the rink. You feel like you're always playing, and some guys need a little bit of away time. Some guys need to get off the grid a little bit. Some guys need to play more, stay more in the game. But I think it's a good lesson in terms of when you win a game, it's reset. Yeah, another one coming up next day. It's you lose a game, reset, win the next game. But it does get mentally fatiguing, especially if you're struggling. I mean, especially if things aren't going the way you want them to. For me personally, it's been hard because it's like you can't escape it really. But at the same point, I've been through this before in my career, and I usually it takes something like this for me to come out of it. But with the condensed schedule, it's different because your body's more worn down, and it's about maintaining, and so you have to adjust as time goes. It's only been, like you said, 7-8. I don't know how many games that is. I'm not a math guy, but there's a lot of hockey left to be played. But for me personally, it's more so a matter of you look around the league. There's a lot of 1-goal games, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm here is to be the extra goal. And if you focus on just scoring, it'll get you nowhere. The league will humble you. So I just need to do other things that can help the team.
Yeah. How do you look back at the first 15 games? Like, is there a big takeaway for you, or just as a team? Like, is there anything that sticks out first 15 games of the season for you guys?
Well, obviously, I think guys stepped up. I think that's in terms of positivity, lots of young guys came up the Abbey line, different guys coming in out of the lineup defensively, offensively. Our goaltending has been great. I think positively, that's how I look at it, as we dealt with some adversity already. We got hit with a hammer again. It seems like last year and a bit, it's been a lot, but and then guys are coming back and guys are energized. You see the guys that come back they're flying around out there. They got speed. Right. It's like, you're not going through we're in the trenches here a little bit. Everyone is though, and every team deals with it, and no one's gonna feel sorry for us. And I think it's a good lesson for young guys to understand too, about how to react after wins and losses. Like I was saying earlier, you gotta park it. You gotta park it if it's great. You have a 2-point, 3-point night, awesome. But then the next game, it's like a completely different type of thing. So I think it's good for even like a guy like Braden, like Coetzee, to get some games in obviously in the schedule like this, but obviously not where we want to be. I mean, in fairness, we have different expectations. I had different personal expectations, but what can you really do? You got a game tomorrow anyways. So it's like, you go on, you just got to try to improve and try to get those wins. And obviously we got to make playing at home. I think that's something that since I've been here, we got to get stronger. I think we have to have a better record here, and obviously give the fans more to cheer about. That's the best case scenario. Yeah. But we need to make this a hard place to play in terms of where we're getting points pretty much every single night.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as like, I'm curious to get it from a player's perspective. Like, what do you think just like a little win streak would do this team right now. Just getting on a streak, right?
I totally agree on a personal and on a team level. I think that, and it's hard. It's hard when you have that many games, and it seems like every single situation you're coming into, you're playing against a team that lost 2 in a row. You're playing against a team because it's so tight, right? Usually you can kind of get on a swing if a team's kind of going down, but that's what this game is. That's what you want to be a part of. It's competitive. It's tight, and I think that would go a long way. Obviously, even just get a couple going. But it always starts with one. You gotta get the first one first, and then you go from second and third, and that's when you start building momentum. And I think in a season like this, momentum is the biggest thing. Momentum gets killed with injuries, gets killed with losses, gets killed with different things. But momentum is, if you have momentum, you look at the leaders and stats, you look at the leaders in the league. It's like they haven't lost a game in regulation. It's like because they're rolling, because they got momentum, they're on a roll. They'll have their day. And it's like if you have a good month, it looks good. So, but I think that starts here at home. Obviously, didn't like how the game went against Chicago. No one did. But you move on, and we got another one. We got a chance to get it back.
Yeah, well, right back into another back-to-back.
Right back into it. Yeah, we got back-to-back this week. Yeah, exactly. Was it 3 and 4 again?
Doesn't stop, man. Doesn't stop.
We'll get used to it. You know what I mean? And then we got the trade-off is the Olympics, and that's gonna be super exciting to watch. So, but yeah, it's different. And out of my years of pro, it kind of reminds me of the COVID season weirdly, just in terms of feels like you're playing every kind of the schedule's a little bit different, but it's nice to have the fans this time around.
Yeah, that's a lot better for sure. Let's get into some speed round questions here to wrap up. If all your teammates were on a trivia show, what would be your one subject that you would be the best at? Like they would call, like, this is the board on Jeopardy, and they say we got to put Jake up there.
Well, I want to say one. I'll give you 2. Speed round. Okay. Sorry, speed round. Probably sports, honestly.
Yeah. And sports better than anyone else in the room. You think?
Maybe not rats. R2 Ratu's actually, he knows everything.
Yeah.
But I would say movies. Sorry, movies and Pokemon. Those are the 2. Movies and Pokemon. Quotes and Pokemon. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite Pokemon movie? If we can find the 2.
I hate to say this, I've actually never seen the movie.
Really?
I've seen highlights of it. I've seen some of the battles, but probably when Charizard comes around. I think there's one where he kind of saves the day. I think that one's
when he
probably
evolves. Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah,
he
that's
gets
pretty
pissed off with Aerodactyl. He wants to fight him.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah,
I think it's one when he comes. Yeah, I don't know. I watched a thing on YouTube about it actually. So I was like, I wonder what it was like. The movie about. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I forget the episode. I think it was Brock, and he had his Magmar. Magmar was really strong, and he needed to get to that next level. It was good. I watched it all. Like I got a 3-month-old, and I remember the first like nights when he's up all night, like. We must have rolled through like 70 episodes, watched a few of the movies. Like they're all on YouTube now. It's nice. It's like a Pokemon TV thing. Just watch it right there.
It's changed a lot. Yeah, I actually watched more Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. Weirdly, I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh guy actually growing up, so I don't remember most of it. But I mean, it's hard to say that when you're a fan. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we're pretty close to the same age. So like I remember like the Yu-Gi-Oh side. I thought the story was incredible with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Insane. Yeah, I always remember watching that, and then you kind of as you grow up, you go Nickelodeon, and I don't know what the other one was, but you watch different shows.
Family Channel.
Family Channel. Yeah. Those are the 2 you'd flop. Me and my sister would flop through.
Yeah.
So those kind of went away, but it's funny that all these years later we're back into it. I guess. Right?
Yeah, it's just trying to be a kid again.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's kind of the point.
Favorite non-hockey athlete? Do you have one that sticks out? Like, was it growing up or nowadays? Like, do you have either or?
I never saw him play live, really. No, I never saw him play, so I guess it would be previous. But Michael Jordan. Yeah. I mean, he's the GOAT. Sorry, LeBron fans. 6-0, 6 MVPs. That's all I need to say. But I just loved his intensity and also like just the way he played. I'd love to see what he'd be like nowadays if he grew up nowadays and played, but I loved his killer instinct. That guy was a definition of killer. If I had to bet my life on someone making a shot, it'd be MJ, so that's my favorite player.
Love it. If you were to do 3 weeks through the Mediterranean, one teammate has to join. You guys have to have the most fun possible. Who's your teammate?
One teammate, probably the most fun ever. Who would I have the most fun with? I'd love to say Woody on this one.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Woody or Forby. Or Forby. Probably the top 2 I'd probably go with, yeah.
Okay. And while you're on that Mediterranean trip, lots of gelato on there, lots of good ice cream. Let's say, what's the favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite ice cream flavor of mine is probably, I actually have a weird one. Well, not gelato, but it was raspberry sorbet Haagen-Dazs. I don't know why, but that thing, I can't find it. You can't. Good luck finding that, because I think I went through all the tubs. It was, that gets me so much for some reason. And then I cannot go with like, cookies and cream or Oreos or, some sort of flavor like that. Vanilla is pretty basic, but like, pretty consistent.
Good vanilla is good. Like,
good vanilla is good. Yeah. Vanilla bean or something,
Okay. Well, if you find the raspberry sorbet, you're getting a puck at the game. So bring that, toss that over the
Seriously, I'll grab that any day. I used to love that. Yeah. I used to love that. I don't know. I haven't had it in years though. I haven't been able to find it.
We're in the month of November now. If you could force a player to grow a mustache and keep it for the rest of the season, who do you think would be a good one? Quinn to watch for a mustache?
Just to see what it looked like. Yeah, I don't know if he has facial hair really, but he has got a little bit around, but I would say like a good mustache. Quinn or we'll just go Quinn. I'd just like to see what he'd look like.
Have you ever done it? Like, have you ever really
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it
pretty hard.
I actually did a goatee. Me and Charlie McAvoy, our rookie years, we were roommates. And I was shaving my face because I get facial hair obviously. And as a joke, I like showed him, I was like, hey, does this look good for Movember? And he loved it so much. He didn't have much at the time that he did. And I actually scored in the game. But then I got really cold. But then I just went to the mustache. Then I just shaved the mustache. But yeah, I just didn't even think of it actually. That's on me.
Yeah. Okay. With the new, like, you guys don't have to wear suits to every game now. I'm curious, like, but I've seen you in a suit in some of the walk-ins. How do you choose? Am I going casual today or am I going suit today? How do you just go with the vibe or how do you decide?
Go with the vibe. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it was this year. I thought it was next year. But I have to update my whole wardrobe now, like the whole thing. Not that it's bad, just a little outdated. I wish this happened probably 4 or 5 years ago. I actually had pretty good style back then, but I still have those same clothes. So it's kind of like, it's kind of weird, but I just kind of go off of what I feel, and laundry, to be honest. Like, if you run out of clothes, I got all these suits I could use. So I just put a suit on. So if I have a suit, it's probably because of laundry.
Okay, good to know. Last question, and it's a tough one. What is your favorite smell in all the world?
Favorite smell? Ooh. Weirdly, walking into arena. Popcorn or like, I don't know if that makes any sense. I love smelling like movie theater popcorn. If you give me a whiff of that, that's probably up there. And then probably, I'd go with movie theater popcorn as my favorite smell. I don't even know if it has a distinct one. But like, when you walk into an arena and you just have like kind of like that game day smell. That makes sense.
What? Like, you get it here. Like,
it's usually around game day, like time though. Like, you come in early, it's whatever, but you can kind of get a whiff of it during the game. But that for me always, an event's going on. It kind of triggers me to like know something's happening. Yeah. And then movie theater popcorn, I just think of movies. Yeah,
I remember like I played baseball and like the first step off the bus and you get like the grilled onion smell in the air.
That might be what it is. What I'm thinking about. I was trying to. Yeah, it might be just like the grilled like hot dog or something. But I don't know why I said popcorn. But that's when you know you're at the game. That's when you know you're at the ballpark. You know what I mean?
Well, you missed our producer with the eucalyptus lavender. That was the call before. That was a little much for me. I'm staying
only when I get sick.
Onions.
When I get sick, I grab one of those Sage things. Shout out to Sage, and but I get one of those things. I just like sniff on there. I'm just like, clear me up.
Right on. Yeah. We'll wrap it up on shout out to Sage. So Jake, thanks so much for joining us here on the pod, and we'll do this again down the road. Maybe it'll be your hidden podcast. We'll figure that out later down the road.
Yeah, maybe I'll have you as a guest. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Jake.